What's good, everybody? We are coming near to the end of the NBA season, and tier lists are the new fad. So we are going to be making our NBA tier list for the top 50 players. This should be interesting, so just a little preface. I have not been a hardcore NBA fan this season. I've been halfway in between, like an all-in fan and a casual fan. Like, some days I'm a casual fan. I follow everything that happens in the NBA on Twitter, but obviously that doesn't give you nearly the full picture of NBA players. Last season I was definitely a hardcore NBA fan, so some of these might be off. If you disagree with some of them, let me know down in the comments. But we are going to be making our tier list for what this person considers to be the top 50 NBA players. So we're going to go ahead and get started. You can see up top it says top 5, so that changes it a little bit. That means the top is going to be very light, and then it's going to kind of trickle down from there. So we're probably, obviously only have 5 at the top, so that's going to be the toughest decision, but anyways, we'll go ahead and hop into it. We got Steven Adams. Just relative to everybody else on this list, we're going to go ahead and put Steven Adams as a D player. He's a solid role player, but definitely not a star player by any means. Paul George was an MVP candidate for most of the season. Had one of his best seasons so far, so we're definitely going to put him in the A spot. Russell Westbrook, I think probably most of the A spots are going to be like first or second team all-NBA players, so we're definitely going to have Russell Westbrook right there too. This is where it's going to get difficult, so I've got to decide who I want in my top 5. That's the thing. So I think it would probably be best for me to go ahead and say who I think my top 5 is. I'm saying this is best players in the NBA right now. This is not their all-time ranking. This is not their rank from last season. This is best players in the NBA right now. I'm going to put Kevin Durant, in my opinion, is the best player in the NBA right now. You can disagree with that if you want to, but in my opinion, there's nobody as good as him. Honestly, right now, especially with how he's playing, I'm definitely going to put Kawhi Leonard at number 2. Even with him getting double-teamed in the finals, he's still putting up 30 points a game. He has been absolutely insane. In my opinion, he's the second best player in the league right now. This is where it's going to start getting difficult. So even though he kind of copped out at the end of the season and didn't play the rest of it, I'm still going to put LeBron right there. I still think he's definitely a top 5 player in the NBA, although he is for sure past his prime. And then after this, it gets really difficult, but I would say, especially based off what we've seen since Durant has been out, you're going to have a hard time convincing me that Steph Curry is not a top 5 player in the NBA. If Durant's not on his team, he's averaging easily 30-plus points per game. And even though there are other players that have better stats, I would say he's definitely a top 5 player. This is going to be the toughest spot. So I've got to choose between Giannis, Harden, and Anthony Davis. I don't think it's going to be Anthony Davis, so it comes down to Giannis or Harden. And no, this is not an MVP discussion. This is who is the best player. Harden has really good stats, but doesn't seem to impact his team. He does have a big impact on his team, though. Harden or Giannis, just going pure impact on their team, I would say Harden probably does have more impact on his team, which puts Giannis up in the A tier. I would put Kemba Walker in the A tier as well. In my opinion, he's definitely top 15 in the NBA. Maybe top 10. I would say best point guard in the East for sure. He had 7 40-plus point per game, or 40-plus point games this season. He was an absolute monster, had his best season. He's just stuck in a really crappy system in Charlotte. So that's what it is. Blake Griffin, probably B tier. Could consistently be an all-star, but he's not phenomenal, although I do think he had a better season this season. Victor Oladipo has been injured a lot. But he's definitely on the way up, but I'm not sure he's quite in the place of being... But he was an all-star last season. This is a tough one. I think just because of his injuries right now, I'm going to put him in the C tier, but could definitely be a B tier player. Karl Anthony Towns, just because of his attitude, I'm going to put him in C tier. John Wall, because of his lack of leadership and his injuries, I'm going to put him in the C tier. Kyrie... Here's the thing. I would say Kyrie is one of the most overrated players in the NBA, and I think his leadership really shown in how poorly the Celtics did this season, given the amount of talent that they had. So I'm actually going to put Kyrie in the B tier, and that's probably going to offend some people, but there's a lot of A tier players that I feel like should be separated from the rest. And maybe towards the end, like looking through, maybe I'll end up changing this, but I'm going to put him in the B tier right now. Anthony Davis, definitely an A tier player. Drew Holiday, I'm just going to go ahead and put in the D tier. I don't think he's like barely a top 50 player. LaMarcus Aldridge, I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched anything the Spurs have done all season, but I don't think he's definitely not a B tier player. I'm trying to choose between C and D, and I'm probably going to end up putting him. I don't think he was even an all-star. No, he's a C tier player. Jamal Murray has definitely been on the way up. I'm probably going to put him in C. Mike Conley, he's just getting old, and the Grizzlies suck, so he's definitely going to go D. Nikola Jokic was an MVP candidate. That's a tough one. There were some discussions of whether or not he would be an MVP. I just don't feel like he has nearly as much impact on his team. Like, he's got some nice stats, but I think I'm going to put or put him A tier. Kristaps Porzingis, injured all season, but extremely talented, but because of his injuries, we're going to put him in C tier. Jimmy Butler, watching him play in real life has definitely escalated my view of him, so I might have to put him in the B tier. Because he's one of those definite all-stars, but doesn't do a lot for your team chemistry. I don't know. I might end up switching some of these later on, because I've got a lot of people in C and not a lot of people in B. Aaron Gordon's going to be D tier. Andre Drummond's going to be D tier. Boogie Cousins. Right now, Boogie Cousins is definitely D tier. He has had little to no impact on the Warriors. Joel Embiid, I'm going to put probably B tier. He's like another one of those players that could be top 10 in the NBA. I can't put everybody not in the B tier, so I'm going to put... Is he better than... Oh my gosh, this is a lot tougher than I expected. It would help if I had like specific limits that I put on each. De'Aaron Fox is on the way up, but definitely not above D tier. Devin Booker can get buckets, but that's about it. I'm gonna put him in C tier. Klay Thompson, I'm definitely gonna put in B tier. Obviously, he's not first team All NBA, but he's a really consistent player. Marc Gasol, way past his prime, D tier for me. Damian Lillard, I'm definitely gonna put in A tier. He had his best season so far this season. I'm relatively certain that he did. Didn't follow them super closely prior to the playoffs, but he was just balling out and carrying his team in a lot of different ways, so I'm going to put him in the A tier. Zach LaVine, D tier, too many injuries. Bradley Beal wasn't terrible this season. I think he was an all-star, so we'll put him in the C tier. Chris Paul, probably a C tier player. Gordon Hayward just hasn't made it back from injuries. CJ McCollum, probably B tier, I think. And I'm probably actually going to put Chris Paul up there in B tier as well. And might actually end up switching Jimmy up to there. I feel like Jimmy is above the rest of these players. Yeah, we're going to put Jimmy up there as well. I'm trying to think, like, does it match all the way across what I'm seeing? Tobias Harris has not been the same since joining the Sixers. Lou Williams, great six-man, but definitely not above D tier. Chris Middleton actually made the All-Star team this year, so we're going to put him on C. He was in the East, that being said. Donovan Mitchell, Rookie of the Year, but didn't have a ton of impact on the Nuggets this year. Or Jazz, sorry, not Nuggets. Draymond, usually an all-star, not an all-star this year. Hasn't had his best year, but has been really good in the playoffs. So we're going to give him C tier. D-Wade, way past his prime, definitely D tier. Al Horford, one of the more underrated players in the NBA, so we're going to give him C tier. Jason Tatum didn't have nearly as good of a season as everybody expected him to. Ben Simmons, even though he didn't make the all-star team, probably should have. I'm going to give him C tier. Do I feel comfortable putting Ben Simmons above everybody here? Yes. Yeah, I feel comfortable with that. D'Angelo Russell, okay, he's definitely not B tier, but made the All-Star team, had a really good season. He's definitely making it up there. Luka Doncic, Rookie of the Year in my opinion, but still can't put him above D. Nikola Vucevic, Most of these players I would consider all-star caliber players, but I think Vucevic actually made the all-star team this season. I might have to put him in C. And then DeMar DeRozan, I think him being on the Spurs proved that he wasn't nearly as good as people thought he was. He's really just a scorer, so I'm going to put him in the C tier. I tried to make these two like the top tier players. I'm trying to see, let's see, injuries, poor leadership. I'm trying to see if there's anything I miscategorized. If we're going just like if we ignore injuries, I think Kristaps is a B tier player, assuming he's healthy all season. But just with the amount that he was injured, I don't think that I can put him up there. Chris Middleton, good player, but not. I don't put him with those. Same for Draymond. Same for Al Horford. I feel pretty confident with how I rank these. If you disagree with any of these, make sure you let me know down in the comments. And actually looking at it, I'm not sure if I would still have Blake Griffin right there. Yeah, I would say he's been pretty impactful for the Pistons. And these are, yeah. I feel like I got that pretty accurate, but once again, let me know down in the comments if there's anything that you guys would change. And also, I will link it, and you guys can tweet me your tier lists at BobbyBucketsYT on Instagram, or on Twitter, and if you want to post it on Instagram, it's at BobbyBucketsYT as well. Well, that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you drop a thumbs up down below, and subscribe to the squad if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time.